everyone, and welcome to the Performance Review. We are so excited to have you. We are here with Arielle Ship, and she's one of our performance advocates. The whole idea of this is just to kind of make sure that you guys get a better idea of who our performance advocates are, what that program is, and just get a little bit more of a personal flair from these people that we love working with, that are huge advocates of our product. Arielle is a yoga teacher, an outdoor adventure blogger, and a holistic nutritionist, and she's been a performance advocate with us since about September. And our performance advocates, we have athletes, we have bloggers, we have singers, people that are using our product every day to do what they do better. And so we like to get to know them a little bit better and hear how they're using the product. And so, Arielle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here, and it's so great to connect with everyone.
Yeah, tell us. So you've got a long list. Your title is lengthy. You've got many things that you're good at, that you love. Talk to us a little bit about you, like how you got into your outdoor adventuring and yoga and all of that, and what drew you to those things.
Yeah, so I actually grew up competing in snowboarding. So I did that into my 20s. And when I was transitioning, it's so funny to call it a career when you're actually retiring at like, I don't know, 21 years old. But as I was retiring from that career, I kind of had this identity crisis of what was next for me, and fell in love with rock climbing and other outdoor sports, and had been practicing yoga to kind of support my snowboarding career, and decided to really dive headfirst into that. So that's kind of the direction my career took. Was I taught yoga full time, and I just did outdoor adventure on the side for myself, not as part of my career. And I had some health issues that I went through that I was able to work with a holistic nutritionist to find my way out of, and just really learned a little bit more, widened my lens, I guess we'll say, into the holistic health world. And that got me really excited to learn more about nutrition and wellness beyond the scope of just yoga. And then somehow in that time, I started sharing online my outdoor adventures, and that sort of became a part of my career. So it's interesting because for the longest time, health and wellness was my career, and outdoor adventure is what I did for myself on the side. But right now it's kind of like a mix of everything somehow. And it's been fun to just, keep it interesting and have all the things that I love be on the table, I guess we'll say.
Awesome. It's amazing when you can have something that you love become the thing that you do every day, that you can just live your truth, I guess, that's what the kids are saying, or so I'm told. How were you first introduced to doTERRA, and how did that kind of fall into what you're doing with holistic health?
Yeah, so I actually found doTERRA almost 11 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. I was going to the local climbing / fitness gym where I went to college, and there was a poster on the wall for an Essential Oils 101 workshop. And I was in this phase of getting really obsessed with holistic health and wellness, and wanting to clean out my products, if you will. And so I went to this workshop and learned all about doTERRA. I'd never heard of it before. And that was really the beginning of this 11-year love of essential oils. So it's pretty cool to think of that. And so those of you guys who are out there hosting events and putting yourself out there, please keep doing it. It's amazing. That's how I found my way in. And I'm so grateful that someone put themselves out there and put a poster up in the gym.
I love hearing that. And that it's, such a easy thing to get connected with a wellness advocate, and then it can change essentially the course of how you're doing your day-to-day routine and the things that you're incorporating into your routine and your health and your wellness. And you kind of talked a little bit about what drew you to holistic health, but why do you think that that's so important as someone who is as active, and you're outdoors, and you're an athlete in so many aspects, and snowboarding and yoga and all of that? Why is holistic health and your essential oil routine so important to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of if you're as active as I am or not, taking care of our health is just so essential. It's, we only get one of these, so we kind of have to take care of it. And I think most of us have had an experience where we haven't felt our best, and it really impacts our ability to live our life to its fullest, whether that was, something small like just getting a cold, or something larger like what I experienced of going through a couple different autoimmune conditions. And, when we aren't able to feel like our brightest, most full, most vibrant self, we're not able to really show up for ourselves fully, or for those around fully. So I feel like learning how to take care of ourselves and embody this, these holistic practices are a way that we can really thrive in whatever we do, whether that's outdoor adventure, like what I love to do, or just anything that lights you up inside.
I love the way you put that. Being your best self for the people around you and for yourself, obviously, you've got to take care of you first before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've said that you're an outdoor adventure blogger, but I don't know if people that are listening really understand to the extent of what your outdoor adventure looks like. So, you're about to embark on something that some other people might think, is like that's not my journey, but for you, I'm so excited for you to tell us about it because it's really an amazing thing. So talk to us a little bit about the PTC tour that you're about to embark on.
Yeah, so the PCT is short for the Pacific Crest Trail, and it is a hiking trail that goes from the Mexico-California border to the Canada and Washington border. It's 2,650 miles and will cover the whole state of California, Oregon, and Washington. And I will do this by foot, carrying everything that I need to survive on my back. So backpack with my tent, all my food and everything like that. And it will take me roughly 5 to 6 months to complete. It's kind of hard to know exactly until you're out there and making miles. But yeah, I actually set out in less than 2 weeks now to take on this journey, which is something I've been planning for probably like almost 8 or 9 years, but actually physically planning since 2020. I actually had a permit for 2020 that I had to get a little rebate on because, like most of you, I had to change my plans that year. But I'm excited to get out there now and finally get the chance to, chase this big dream of mine. I'm really, really, really excited for my adventure.
I love that. And what was the first, how did this kind of come up? What was the first time you were aware of it, and what inspired you and motivated you to go do this 5-month journey that you're about to take?
So I went to school in Lake Tahoe. I'm from Colorado and I live here now, but I went to college in Lake Tahoe on a snowboarding scholarship. And when I was out there, the PCT actually runs along it doesn't actually connect to Tahoe, but it runs along the backside of the mountains there. So there's a section there that really overlaps with the wilderness area that we would access or frequent a lot when I lived out there. So it was not on my field of awareness at all until a friend of mine talked about how they had done another trail called the John Muir Trail, which actually is, I think it's roughly 200 miles that overlaps with the PCT. And they started talking about the PCT and how you could do this longer version of it. And I don't know if, it's weird to explain because it was one of those moments where I heard it and there was just this part of me that knew that was something I had to do. And I'm like, it's like kind of so far removed from something physical or tangible. It was just like this knowing. And within a couple of years, I had started to buy ultralight gear and things like that. And like most of us had life a little bit. But finally, decided to make it happen a couple of years ago. But yeah, it was not like this. It was really interesting because it was just this moment where, I heard it and I had this deep knowing that was something that I was called to do one day, if that makes sense.
Sure. Sometimes it's just there and you've got to do it, and it may not make sense to other people, but you've got to do it. Yeah. I'm curious what some of the physical and especially the mental preparations you have to take for a trip like that. I know a lot of people listening here, the mentality is such a big part of what they do in their business. And obviously you're looking at a literal mountain that you're about to climb, or many mountains. And so how do you mentally and physically prepare for something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately for a trek this long, 5 months, for me, I've just been trying to stay active and move my body as much as possible. I would love to say that I have this specific routine that's super tailored towards backpacking, but I'm in grad school right now and I also am running 2 different businesses. So I've just been trying to keep myself as active as possible. And with that, when I start on the trail, I'll just start with slightly less miles and build up as I go. And this is a really helpful approach for something of this caliber too, because it allows your joints and, your muscles and everything to really get accustomed to that specific type of fitness, and then you can kind of full throttle from there. And I really do think it's the mental aspect. I think that physically all of us are more capable of things than we ever could have imagined. We're capable of bigger feats than we ever could have imagined. But I think it's the mental aspect that really holds us back from chasing those dreams. And I'm not saying it's everyone's dreams to hike 2,600 miles. Believe me, I've tried to convince a lot of friends to come with me and they were okay to say no. But I do think, really making sure that I have that mental fortitude and that belief in myself. So doing, enough of that personal self work and personal development to believe in myself, believe in what I'm capable of, and just recognize and acknowledge my ability to move through hard things, and to know that there will be really hard moments where everything sucks, and to keep walking anyways.
Just kind of take it a day at a time, a mile at a time, keep moving.
One step at a time.
Well, because we're here and we're talking, to our doTERRA family, we have to ask, what are some of your go-to essential oils that you turn to as you're preparing or recovering, or even, on those hard mental days to kind of get you in the right frame of mind?
Well, I don't know if you guys can see, but I actually have like my diffuser and my whole collection over there. So I'm always diffusing something. There's like 8 of them over there. So I like to rotate it. But my 2 main ones specifically for training, this guy right here, the Deep Blue and Copaiba stick. Like, I literally don't go anywhere without this. This thing is like just been transformational. I love obviously Deep Blue, but I like the stick because you don't have to run the risk of accidentally getting deep blue in your eyes. If you've done it before, I've done it. It's not very fun. And then another part of getting, good rest and good recovery has been this one for me. I think this is actually my favorite doTERRA product right now, is the Adaptive Roll-On. I use this every night before bed, and it really just kind of gets my whole system ready to settle down and to calm down and get deep restorative rest. Because when you're training hard, or you're mentally doing all the things that I'm doing right now to get myself ready to go, like, you need that deep restorative sleep.
I love that. I've actually heard similar things from a lot of our performance advocates, a lot of our athletes. Adaptive is huge for them. Yeah. Deep Blue is a go-to staple. Here at corporate, we often call it kind of like the gateway into the rest of the doTERRA products because it's easy to use. But Adaptive is a great one. Is there someone who has been a really big inspiration in your life, or maybe someone who has helped you get through some roadblocks that you've encountered?
I definitely think I look to inspiration to different people for different things that I'm tackling, since I have so many different interests. But I have to say, as corny as it sounds, like, my mom has been such an inspiration to me. She's gone through so many challenging things in her life, like just so much death and loss and things that she's faced. And to see her, really step up to handle those things. And it's not this like, for her, it's not this bypassing of them. Like, you see her feeling the feels of all of these challenges, but then she just like steps up with so much positivity and, this optimism for the future. And I feel really grateful to have been, to have been my role model for most of my life, because I think it's really set me up to know that, things can get better after big challenges, or to like, to stick with it and to keep moving on. So I'm just really grateful for her. Like I said, as corny as it sounds, it's the truth. She's really been, had such a tremendous influence on my whole life.
Oh yeah. Not corny at all. I think it's incredible. We just celebrated, International Women's Day, and that's an especially poignant day for us at doTERRA because we have so many women leaders and builders. And I think when we have women in our lives who are lifting us up and we're empowering each other, it's a really powerful thing. So I love that so much. Okay, well, I think we're about to the end here, but I want to make sure that people who would like to follow you on this journey as you're going through on this tour can find you. So where can people follow along and see what you're doing, maybe how you're using the products day to day, how you're getting food in from your husband? You're telling us about that. So where can people find that?
Yeah, so the main platforms I share on are Instagram and YouTube, and I do have my little like backpacking doTERRA kit. It's a little bit more like refined than my normal day-to-day kit of oils, but I do have to be really mindful of weight. So I have my little kit that I'll bring along, and I'll definitely be sharing about that as I go. So yeah, Instagram, I will kind of just share. That one will be more like as I go, a little bit more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like casual, I guess you'll say. And then YouTube, laid back, kind of more like in the moment. And then YouTube, I feel really fortunate that my husband is going to actually edit some vlogs for me as I go. So those will be, like you can get like a much more immersive experience, and they'll be live-ish, right? Obviously I have to do it, send him the videos for him to edit, and then we'll get it live. But that way you can really like feel like you're there. And so for those of you who, want to live vicariously through something like this, there'll be plenty of opportunities. Or if you are wanting to do it yourself, I will have tons of videos on, like you said, how I'm packing my food, what gear I'm bringing, and just, all of the lessons learned along the way. And both of those platforms are just my name. So Ariel Shipe. And yeah.
Perfect. Great. So make sure you guys are following Ariel on all of her platforms. It's a great resource as you're sharing the business and talking about just some of the incredible people that we have in our doTERRA family who have found such success with the product and really from the community. So make sure you're following her, follow along on her journey. And I'm sure she would love to see your comments and encouragement as she goes along. But thank you so much, Ariel, for joining us. We are so grateful to have you as part of our team. And we will catch you guys on the next performance review.
Thank you so much. It was so amazing being here.